Hello chemistry students, this is the last video for our 7 to 10 revision, and this one is going to be on state changes. It's a bit quicker than the other ones. So pretty much we have three states of matter. Matter can exist as a solid, a liquid, or a gas, and it's really important to keep in mind that these states can change, and that's because we can change the energy of the particles by either heating or cooling them. So if we start with a solid and begin to heat it up, that solid can eventually melt and it turns into a liquid. Now that liquid can be heated even further and vaporize, or it's more probably commonly known as evaporating, and turn into a gas. Um, After that, once we have our gas, what can end up happening is we could end up cooling that gas, condensing it and turning it back into a liquid, cooling that liquid, freezing it and turning it back into a solid. Now, this is something that you would have seen all the way back in year 7 and have talked about fairly frequently. Now, you may or may not have seen also that we are able to turn a solid directly into a gas, skipping the liquid phase, and turning a gas directly into a solid, skipping the liquid phase. Now, if we go from solid directly to gas, we call this process sublimation, and gas straight to a solid is known as deposition. Now, this is not something that we do all that much in this course really at all, but I thought that if it wasn't something that you were aware of, maybe that, probably best that you do. Now, we write our states of matter in chemistry using these terms in brackets. Now, for solids, liquids, and gases, we just write an S, an L, and a G in brackets. So, for example, if we were looking at water in three different states, we could put H2OS, H2OL, H2OG. The other, I guess, state or pseudo state that we have that we're going to start using a lot more as well, especially when we start writing up equations for chemical reactions, are that we have these aqueous substances. So, for example, NaCl, or sodium chloride, more commonly known as table salt, usually is a solid, but if we mix it with water, it ends up dissolving into the solution. Now, at that point, it's definitely not turned into a liquid. We haven't melted it. It hasn't magically turned into a gas either, and it certainly isn't a solid in that solution in that water. What we say is it's aqueous, meaning that it's dissolved in solution, and we use these brackets here, AQ, to show that. Now, I've put in your OneNote page some videos to demonstrate what sublimation and deposition look like. They look pretty cool. I would highly recommend having a quick look at those too if you get the chance. Now, moving forward from here, we're going to start to talk about some concepts which are more related to the first sections of this first module, and we're going to start looking at physical and chemical changes.